all to the county. So I just don't want people upset when there's not, I mean, we'll have the results from the machines. Those will be made available, the unofficial results. We always have those on election night, but those write-in candidates will not be a part of that. So I just don't want there to be confusion and upset people on election night. That's all I have. If you have any questions on that, please feel free to call my office. We'll be happy to talk to you about it. The candidates should be, if you haven't received an email, you should be receiving an email regarding that and some other things. Thank you.
I would just request, I know we talked about it with the Veterans Commission, that because there are so many expired terms, that be brought to us. I would have preferred that had been brought all collectively together if there were 6 expired, I believe 6, you said expired terms. So, and we have 2 council members who do want to serve, so I would hope that they would both be considered in that if they both want to serve the commission.
We're here, we can do it now. Someone makes that motion.
I just don't know if that comes again.
I think it has to come from the mayor.
From the mayor's request for appointments, which would normally be the process.
And then they would have to vote. You're talking about like the people on the board. They have to decide. You know, they're going to have to meet before, you know, and decide who wants to do what and vote on it. And that's what I'm saying, that, you know, if a lot of people's expired because of COVID, you know.
I think that
they
those
would be
should have
allowed to
been
vote.
brought together, not just one, if there really are 6 expired terms. I would have preferred, I didn't know that coming into tonight's meeting that there were, I assumed it was just one. And I assumed also it was a resignation, not an expiration term.
Anybody else? Okay, now I'll open the floor to, yes, sir? And again, if you would, please state your name and your address.
My name is Brandon Young, 9811 Forest View Lane. There should be a packet that I provided for everyone. At the top page is a letter that has the letterhead, Your Peace of Mind. The concern that we have as residents of Forest View Lane, and I'm just representing a small group that are sitting here in the back, is the current building plans for the builder to develop the properties there was already approved. And Forest View Lane is a dead-end street, and they approved the building of a home in the last lot, which removes the turnaround that's been there for the last 15 years. So we have no safe way for large vehicles, fire trucks, EMS, garbage trucks, delivery trucks, to now safely turn around. I do know in 2015, when the original development was approved, it was supposed to be temporary. There was some discussion that maybe they would develop to the north of that property line, so that's why it was a temporary T. You'll see on the last page of the photos, the builder, before they went bankrupt and left, they did put in a turnaround in that last lot, thankfully, before they left, so that's been there for the last 15 years. But we have, as residents, have been reaching out to the city now. This is our 4th week. I reached out to Mr. Gibbs' office. I left a voicemail several weeks ago, no response. I sent an email through the webpage because that's the only way you can communicate. No response. I filled out a complaint on the iCare app. No response. It wasn't until I reached out to Representative Garza's office and says this is a safety concern. We have small children that play on that street. And currently large vehicles, those pictures that you see today of large vehicles were today. I took them throughout the day, and this is every day since they've started to develop those lots, and they are literally going in reverse from Kenyon, blindly, all the way down to the end of the street. I have small children that play on that street. We have an elderly group that walks every morning. It puts them in danger. And then the only other option is for them to turn around in our private driveways with those large trucks, putting our property potentially at damage. Then of course, we're going to be responsible for that. Representative Garza's office reached out to Ms. Fell. She responded to them, did not respond to us. This morning, I sent an email to Ms. Fell again, letting her know that this is the 4th week we've tried to communicate, and nobody from the city of Taylor has reached out to us. She responded to me and let me know that they're aware of it. However, the plans are already approved and it's private property. What I don't understand is, I get in 2006, the plans were approved and no turnaround was put there because it was potentially temporary with the, potential to build north of it. I don't understand how the plans could have been approved this time when there's no intention to build to the north of it. The Taylor Charter, Section 1301 in the ordinance says, I quote, A suitable turning space shall be provided for vehicles at the terminus of all dead-end streets. So while I appreciate that it was already approved, it shouldn't have been, and it's not safe. And even if it was approved, that should be taken into consideration. And I feel like we're not asking a lot, we're just asking that while it's being looked into, because it's been looked into for now the last 3 weeks while the developers continue to dig and build basements. That turnaround's been ripped out, there's a big hole now for a basement.
Sir, I don't mean to cut, are you referring to this as the turnaround?
That was a turnaround.
So they're building an actual house there where they were using that as a turnaround?
That is an open pit now for a
Okay.
basement.
Okay.
And now they are backing into it.
Yeah.
And so all we're asking is that until a safe resolution can be made, that the builders be told to stop. That's all we're asking, so that there isn't traffic coming down that street and putting our children at risk. We find it unacceptable for the city to look into it for 4 weeks while they're continuing to build. By the time they look into it, there's gonna be a home there. And there's gonna be no ability now for a turnaround. I don't know if they can extend and build a turnaround and have a house in that last lot, or if they have to forgo building in that last lot to put a turnaround in. And I understand that that subdivision, the empty lots, have been a financial burden on the city, and you have a fiduciary responsibility. I understand that, we all understand that. We just don't think that the dollar should be put ahead of safety. And we bought homes on that street, they're premium lots, because there's no traffic. The majority of the residents have small children on that lot, and now that's what we're being subjected to daily while Ms. Feld's office is looking into it. And we just don't feel that that's appropriate. So we're requesting, pleading, begging that it can just stop until a safe resolution can be made, and the fact that there's a city code that says a dead-end street should have the ability to safely turn around was ignored, and the plans were approved anyways.
You're gonna have the same problem on the other side when you start developing those lots too.
Yeah, according to the record, both the northeast corner and the northwest corner is Forest View Lane, were approved for temporary T turnarounds. As you can see in that picture, that's not a T turnaround. Quite frankly, I personally believe, just my opinion, that the builder put that turnaround in there to make it easier for him to turn his trucks around while they were building, and then they went bankrupt, and thank God they left it there. Because that's the only way it's been able to be a safe environment there ever since. But the garbage trucks ever since then, I mean, they're going in, I don't feel that we need to wait till my kid gets injured to fix it. It's not right to do that, right? And I don't know what's worse, to ignore a resident's request, or to acknowledge it and acknowledge that it's a safety concern, and then to look into it for 4 weeks while they continue to build. I almost feel that's more inappropriate, because if you've acknowledged that it's a safety concern, and yet you're allowing the work to continue on and allowing a safe or an unsafe environment to take place. So that's all we're asking right now as far as that concern, is that the builders be told to stop until a resolution be made to provide a safe turnaround, which is part of the city code already. And if that's accomplished, put a house wherever you want at that point. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My name is David Olala. I live at 10204 Island Lake Drive. I actually provided written comment. I think Councilman Ramick was kind enough to distribute it, so I appreciate that. I'm going to just read it. If you don't mind, I'll be looking down. I'm a resident of Island Lakes of Taylor in Midtown subdivision. I'm here on behalf of the residents and HOA of the Island Lakes community to express concerns related to the quality of homes that Century Complete is currently constructing. Island Lakes is a unique community. It's what originally brought my family there 5 years ago. And it's one of the premier subdivisions of the city of Taylor. Over the years, as the subdivision has developed, builders such as Centex and Allen Edwin established and preserved a high standard in quality, really elevating the community and preserving the established value with each home that they built. And seeing other Century Complete communities and homes currently being constructed in Island Lakes, there's a general consensus and a strong concern amongst residents and our HOA leadership that the homes currently being built by Century Complete fall short of the established community standard. I provided a few examples in the write-up, but the first dimension is around square footage. There's 69 lots currently that are built with an average home size of 2,344 square foot. Century Complete isn't even offering a home that size. With 130 lots remaining, there's concern that this is going to establish a lower standard. It's unclear why Century Complete is constructing smaller homes given, the building demand for new construction. Regardless, we understand that they already have plans laid out for what size and type of home will be developed on each lot, and we'd certainly appreciate visibility into what their vision is for the community over the next 2 to 3 years. The second concern is around the fact that they offer spec homes that don't offer any upgrades. You can even take a small home, it can be designed and furnished with higher-end furnishings, but in understanding Century's building practices, it is our understanding that homes are sold as is and that upgrades are not available for buyers to select. Probably the most obvious example is it's pretty standard in our community to have a door wall, and they don't offer that as part of any of their floor plans. And they mention on their website the fact that they have stainless steel appliances, offer granite countertops, and more, but it's unclear what the and more actually is and what would actually represent an upgrade on what would be a basic home build. Finally, the final concern is around no walkout basements. Kind of the beauty of the community is the typography. May I have an extension, sir? Sure. The typography of our community, it really creates perfect conditions for us to take advantage of walkout basements and have views of the retention ponds. And it's unclear what Century Complete is going to be doing with that. They don't offer door walls or walkout basements, and based on both of those, it's our impression that new residents won't get the same benefits of existing. So I guess it's just our hope as a community that we can work with you all and the builder and city council to kind of get clarity on what their vision is and kind of work through and navigate these concerns that we have, because I certainly feel like they hold a lot of merit.
I agree. Unfortunately, we don't really know what the building specs are and all that. That would be another department in the city. But, we'll definitely reach out to Ms. Fell as some sort of update. We don't know, we're not familiar with what laws, private versus, stuff like that. So